Hello, my name is Antonio Musella-Gonzales. I'm a recent graduate of Texas Tech University with my bachelor's in music education. I'm currently a member of the campus ministry called Chi Alpha. I've been a member of Chi Alpha all 4 years while I was at Texas Tech. And actually, their first year on campus was also my first year. At first, I joined this ministry mainly because my father had found out about them, and he wanted me to join a faith-based program in college to make sure I had godly influences in my life. I can tell you from growing up as a pastor's kid that I had no intention of actually continuing my faith in college. I wanted to branch out and finally do what I couldn't do growing up in a Christian home. I certainly didn't want to be part of a campus ministry. I did, however, join because I wanted to please my parents. Upon actually being in small group within Chi Alpha, I soon realized a few things that would change my life forever. One, it immediately hit me that these people didn't just profess to be Christian, but that what their beliefs were lived out daily in their readings, in their prayers, and their thoughts. Because of this, they actually had an active and growing relationship with a living God. Two, I did not have this relationship. Even though I professed to be a Christian, and sure, we shared the same knowledge of Scripture and we knew the basic structures of our faith, but they possessed a conviction which caused them to act upon what they believed in, and it caused them to act upon the knowledge that they had. Lastly, if I was to have what these people had, then my life would have to change in my thoughts and in my actions. While in small group, we didn't just read the Word, but we were taught how to read the Word, and we were given tools to help us understand Scripture. We didn't just have discussions for one night out of the entire week, but rather we had small group, it seemed, 5, 6, or even 7 nights out of the week. This extravagant time that we spent together, we called living life, brought about all this change in our lives. And it was towards the end of my first semester of college, I had a challenge which would cause me to rely on them more than I had before. I had reached a financial struggle which would keep me from returning to the university in the upcoming spring. I had 1 week to raise $2,400 or accept the fact that I would have to go back home to Austin. When I told my small group leader, Nick Hester, my situation, he without hesitation began to reach out to everyone within the organization through plasma donations, donations from strangers, and the sheer grace of God. We were able to raise the money in time for me to stay at Texas Tech and graduate on schedule. This I would have expected from lifelong friends, but surely not from people I had only met 4 months ago. They were not content with just living out their faith within their own lives, but actively sought for ways to portray Jesus in others. My small group leader afterwards told me that what God had done for me, He wanted to do through me for others. If it wasn't for his small group leader at Sam Houston State, he would not be walking with Jesus today. And without Nick Hester, without my small group leader, I know that I would not be here today walking with Jesus. In that moment, I chose to become a small group leader in order to bring other students on campus into God's kingdom. For the past 3 years, I have been small group leading at Texas Tech, and I've come to realize it is the most challenging, the most frustrating, and yet the most gratifying job I have ever had. People, as I'm sure many of you know, are hard to love. You can love them, you can fight for them for months and years, and yet they can choose not to grow. They can choose not to reciprocate love, and they can even choose to drop relationship at the sign of something that seems more valuable to them. Sometimes, though, you do get to meet people who show up to small group hungry for friendship, hungry for change, and eventually hungry for the Lord. Guys like John Yarborough, who showed up to campus with a story and a background very similar to my own. He possessed a lot of knowledge growing up in the church, but he lacked relationship with a living God. It was not long before John had started growing in his walk with God within our small group that he would begin to outdo me in our reading, our praying, and he went from having answers to everything to all of a sudden having questions for everything. He would invite his roommate to small group, who would then invite others to then go invite others. Eventually, John himself became a small group leader. This past year, in the midst of the pandemic, was actually his first ever year fighting for students to know and experience Jesus. John has fought and is still fighting for this man named Hafez. Hafez is an older Muslim graduate student. His name is actually his title. It means that he took the time to memorize the Quran, which is completely mind-blowing. When I asked Hafez why he continues to hang out with us, even though he knows we are Christian, his response to me was, "I can feel the hand of God move in this community. I feel more loved by this group of people than I ever have before." You see, what Nick's small group leader did for him back at Sam Houston, he ended up doing for me. And what was done for me at Texas Tech, I got to do for John. And now John is fighting for Hafez to know Jesus. And Lord willing, he will teach someone else who will find others. And this will continue, and it will keep continuing until Jesus comes back. So why am I saying this to you? To be a campus missionary at Texas Tech means I need to raise a budget of $2,500 a month. What this looks like is 25 people giving on average $100 a month. Some people do more and some people do less. But my conviction is that people would give as they are willing out of a joyful heart. Through this program, I will be taking theology classes, serving the church, continuing to lead small group, street preaching, and leading student outreach on campus, along with taking certification classes to become a certified minister within the Assemblies of God. I think it's great. I graduated from Texas Tech with my music education degree, and I honestly believe it has prepared me for exactly what I'll be doing in ministry, which is teaching others who will go and teach others. Would you be willing to become a monthly supporter? And would you be willing to become that today? You can reach me through my email address, musella-gonzales-antonio@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me through my phone number, which is 737-231-3900. Thank you very much for your time, and please, if you have any prayer requests at all, do not hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you, and have a good day. May God bless you.